greater ones than these. For my Spirit comes in power to set you free. Jesus said, wait there in the city until the power comes from above. Then you will know the way. I'll give you words to say, and all nations soon will hear about my love. Power to be witnesses to me. Power that will make the people see that you can do my works and greater ones than these. For my Spirit comes in power to set you free. Power to be witnesses to me. Power that will make the people see that you can do my works and greater ones than these. For my Spirit comes in power to set you free. For my Spirit comes in power to set us free.
Well, hello, my name is Trevor and welcome to Sheldon Road Church Supplement. Easter is now well behind us, and this week we have marked Ascension Day. The song that you've just heard recounts the events which Luke describes in the first chapter of Acts, when Jesus ascended into heaven, watched by his disciples. Before he left, he gave them some clear instructions, and he told them again about how the Holy Spirit would come on them and send them out into the world. That was the last time the disciples saw Jesus. It was their final farewell to Jesus. Now, I don't know why, but I'm actually not very good at saying goodbye. I somehow want to get it all over with and to move on to the next step. Before I retired, you see, I used to do a lot of international travelling, so the airport routine was very familiar to me and to my family. But I would become restless in the hours and in the minutes leading up to leaving home. I just wanted to get it all over with, all the emotional farewell, and start the journey. For my wife, it was a rather different set of emotions, I think, watching me leave the house. She knew she would be without me for a couple of weeks, and no doubt she was a bit anxious in case anything went wrong on my travels, or indeed whether anything went wrong in the home while I was away. So I wonder, how did the disciples feel on that day when they had to say farewell to Jesus for the last time? There were some very mixed emotions, no doubt, and Luke doesn't really tell us the emotions, but he gives us a few headlines of what happened. First, there was the summary that Jesus had appeared very convincingly to the disciples, who were now called apostles, on various occasions. And then there was Jesus' instruction to stay put in Jerusalem until the Holy Spirit came. They were not to know how long that would take, or that it would come in great power 10 days after Jesus' ascension. But they stayed put anyway, has instructed. Then there's that rather naive question, if you actually read the passage in Acts, when Jesus, asking when Jesus would restore the kingdom of Israel. And I wonder which disciple actually asked that question. Had it still not got into them the fact that Jesus' kingdom was not about returning to earth to become an earthly king? Everything had now changed. And then there's how Jesus responded, I think rather kindly actually, to that. He ducked the question, he didn't answer it, but he said in effect, it's not important now, but when the Holy Spirit comes, you will have power. What he didn't add is that when the Holy Spirit came, they would all see these things with a total new clarity, and the question would no longer be relevant. Then finally, and probably the most important of all, that there was kingdom work still to be done. You see, in Luke's account of the Ascension, Jesus didn't ask them. He did not command them, but rather he just stated it as a fact. He said, "You will be my witnesses," and share the teaching all over the world, really, going out from Jerusalem and into the surrounding territories and eventually all over the world. And that's the key, isn't it? Of course, the apostles, as they're now called, had been touched by their time with Jesus, but after the 10 days, they would be filled with the Holy Spirit, which would enable them to completely understand everything that Jesus had done for them through the cross, through his death, and through all the things that he had taught them. And this would give them a great boldness and a strong desire to share that good news. It was such a powerful stuff that they would preach it and they would gossip it wherever they went throughout the rest of their lives. And they never let up on this task. In fact, the apostles and many others in the early church became masters of communication of the good news. They travelled all over the known world, pushing out the boundaries from north, south, east and west, and they took many risks as well to tell their story, what Jesus had done for them. They would tell of God's love, and that now trusting in Jesus can change lives, can change my life, it can change your life. Tradition has it that out of this group of apostles, only John ever lived to be an old age and died a natural death. All the others were martyred in one way or another. Now, we live in an age of communication, as I found out for myself, saying farewell to my family so many times. We can travel to all across the world and get to almost anywhere in the world within a couple of days. And of course we have the internet, and we've got social media, and it just enabling instant communication across the planet. And so I wonder, how can we use all these things to share our experience of Jesus' love in our lives? Jesus said to the assembled group, "You will be my witnesses." And you know, that phrase has often haunted me. He wasn't asking them, he wasn't commanding them, he simply stated it as a fact. You will be my witnesses. And I guess that every experience that we have in life shapes us in one way or another. So if we have been touched by the love and the power of Jesus, that will shape our character. We have a story to tell, however insignificant we might feel it to be. We carry that story with us in all our relationships and interactions. And of course, we may choose not to share that story with others, And sadly, in our culture, where people don't like talking about faith, it's easy to stay quiet, and even small opportunities slip away. But people around are watching. Many people that we interact with know who we are, they know that we're Christians, and as such, we are witnesses to Jesus whether we like it or not. And we can be good witnesses, or we can be bad witnesses, but always we are witnesses. And my prayer is that we too will be good witnesses to Jesus, that we will know the power of the Holy Spirit in our lives, and that we will allow Him to help us not to miss any opportunities when we interact with other people. Let's tell them about Jesus. Thank you for watching.